This is the Lenovo Chromebook Duet. This is one of the most interesting devices that I've touched all year long, and there's not much else like it. It's a tablet, but it runs Chrome OS, and what Lenovo did is they packed for just $300 this tablet with a keyboard and a travel case, and this case also has a kickstand that folds out to 135 degrees. It's very similar to a Surface Pro. It's very impressive. The only thing they didn't include that I wish they did is an active pen. This tablet is fully compatible with active pens, which are great for drawing and for taking handwritten notes, which I do a lot when I'm working. But without the included pen, and I don't have enough tech around here to borrow from, I wasn't able to test that functionality. I do have a pen right here. This is for the Surface Pro X, but it doesn't work on this device. Now, at just $300, you get all of that, plus an octa-core processor and 4 gigs of RAM. Now, in Chrome speak, that's translation for pretty good performance, not phenomenal performance, but we'll dive into that here in a second. So as far as the look and feel, man, there's a couple things, they're real minor, that I wish Lenovo had changed. So first of all, this camera, it's at the bottom, right? So like if you look at the orientation here of the Lenovo logo, it's right side up, but the camera's down here. So that's a little bit confusing when it's in your hands, and I've had it for a few days. I've used it quite a bit, and still I haven't gotten used to it. Now that translates to some odd button placement. So down here you have the power and volume rockers, as well as your USB port for charging. There is headphone jack, I think. No headphone jack. I didn't even notice. That's how far beyond headphone jacks I am. You'll notice that the display has quite a few fingerprints on it, but that's not Lenovo's fault. That's just life right now, as far as tech goes. Okay, so you power it on. Pretty quick to respond. There's going to be a lot of these like, kind ofs in my video here, but that's just the way that this device performs. It's doing a lot for $300 that you wouldn't expect, but it's not going to blow you away in terms of performance. So here's kind of the step ladder that happens. At $300 with a keyboard and a kickstand case, you're not going to find anything else like it. The next step up is an iPad or a Surface Go 2, neither of which is going to include those things that you need, like the keyboard, the pen, the cover, but they are going to be also $150 or $200 more. Okay, so you're immediately going to go to a totally different device running different operating systems that are quite good. You know, of course, Windows you can do a lot more with Windows than you can with Chrome. And as far as iPad OS goes, it's the best tablet operating system out there, even better than what Android can provide in a Galaxy tablet, which I've used quite a lot of in the past. So speaking from experience, this is in a sense the way to go if you want something inexpensive. But again, back to the step ladder. Okay, if this isn't going to quite do it for you because of performance, then you go to the iPad. Well, believe me, once you get to the iPad, you try to use it for the things that you feel like this can't do, you're going to go to the next step up, which would be an iPad Pro or a Surface Pro, and then you're close to $1,000, and that's with the keyboard and probably without the pen, and then you're plus $1,000 once you add the pen. So keeping all that in perspective, that means this is really good for kids and for students. It's good for those who, you know, they don't need to worry about performance. They need to get their schoolwork done, or they want to watch Netflix or Disney. They want to do some light productivity. It's really good for that. Okay, so with that out of the way, performance is okay. So you can see I just opened a brand new Google Doc. It's not too bad, right? It's going to kind of get you there. And I think that for $300, you're not going to get much better than that. Okay, so as far as gestures go, it's really easy to use Chrome OS, and that's awesome. That's a good thing. So I'll go ahead and load up Microsoft Word, which is an app that I think the target market's going to be using pretty darn quick. When you do things one-off, it works pretty well. Oh, man, I signed out. Okay, well, you don't need to see my password. If you open up YouTube, see, it's not too bad. All right? Okay, so now that out of the way, let's take a look at typing. So the first thing I'll tell you is that the magnets on this thing are awesome. I mean, that is next level stuff. It's pretty awesome. Okay, now, for $300, you get what you pay for. The connection between the keyboard and the device is very flimsy. And one thing I notice is that when I put it all together and then I walk around with it, this gap that exists between the connection of the keyboard and the case sometimes will get separated. And it's really hard to pick up on camera, but this separation It doesn't take much. See, and there it goes. But you know, you just put it right back in. That's not bad. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So kickstand up. A little hard to get your fingers on there, but once you do, rock and roll. And now you have the opportunity to type. Okay. So testing, 1, 2, 3. The thing about this keyboard that really surprised me is that it's easier to use than the keyboard even on the Surface Go 2 or the Surface Go 1, and that's saying quite a bit because Microsoft sort of defined this hybrid tablet, laptop design, and they're also effectively the same size. But one thing that Microsoft has that Lenovo doesn't is the angle. So you can't pin this up like that. You can't pin it up like you can on the Surface devices. So that's a bit of a letdown. But again, this is a surprisingly good keyboard. It's not backlit. Again, yeah, you're $300, but it feels good. And Lenovo does a really good job with their keyboards in general, like on their ThinkPads. So I guess it's not too big of a surprise. So the last thing I'll leave you with is the overall conclusion on it, and that is this is a great device for kids, for students. See, it's upside down. Look at that. That's how it's supposed to be. But then if you open it, it's keyboard, right? It's a little bit confusing, the orientation. It should be like this. But anyhow, this is great for kids, and it's good as a companion device. So if you have a desktop, don't use this as your travel device. Get a laptop or get a Surface, or I suppose an iPad. But if you already have one of those, and then you want something else that's even more lightweight and more portable, then this would make some sense. I could see that as a good alternative. It's hard to find. It's in high demand, plus supply chains are a little bit tight because of COVID. So you're going to be able to find this at Best Buy most readily based on my research and, browsing for the last month trying to find one for myself. And also Lenovo's website. So Lenovo.com, they're going to have less availability than Best Buy based on my research, but that's the other best place to get it. So yeah, hopefully you like this. Give us a thumbs up, a like, all that kind of stuff. And don't forget, we are giving away a Lenovo Chromebook. That's not true. A Lenovo ThinkPad Carbon X1. That's what we're giving away on July 1st, as well as a Nintendo Switch Lite and a mystery box from our partner, Box of Goth. So if you're interested in winning something, you should check out our Insiders page. All right, thanks a lot.